I want to call you Mr. Tiffin, but I'm sitting here with two Mr. Tiffins. And so,
Just call me Van.
Van. Okay.
Yeah, that's what
thank you,
everybody
Van.
calls him. Yeah.
Thank you. What I find amazing when you have a family business, a lot of times family businesses, usually, I don't know if you've heard the old adage, the last person you want, the team you want is family, because it just seems like it never goes right. But it appears that this has gone nothing but right.
Oh, I'm always reminded the third generation is notorious for screwing everything up. So,
Okay.
so I will say that, but
Okay.
it's my goal in life to prove them wrong.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're doing a good job. I don't know. From the outside looking in, I think you're doing a good job.
He's doing a great job. He's, I admire everything he's done. I mean, it's just incredible. Man, I mean, he can wear any hat. He'd be the greatest sales manager in the world. He'd be the greatest production manager in the world. He'd be the greatest CEO of any company. He's well-rounded. He's got all that. He's very smart. So, I mean, and we all look up to him. We all try to please him. Even though he's my son, I don't really think about it, so much out here working every day. Get to run into him, talk to him a couple times a day. We're all just working together, trying to get everything to work out right, get everything pulled in together for the customer experience. And it's just great. It's working. And it's a big company.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's owned by a large company, a large public company, but this company is big in and of itself. We all are able, there's plenty to go around.
Yeah, that's a great way.
If you can have several family members here and put them in one segment of the company, and they have more than they want.
Yeah,
and so a lot of family members are not running over each other in this business.
Well, you mentioned that he's a great CEO. He's great in production, great in all of these areas, and I don't doubt it. I mean, you don't get to the level and the seat that you're in without proving yourself. And I know that you had something to do with Leigh the years ago. But who's top when it comes to quality control? Wouldn't that be you?
For sure.
I'm not necessarily a quality control manager. That title belongs to someone else. But I spend my day in manufacturing. So I work on the products. I try to understand as much as I can about them. And that's the only way I can get intimate with them, is to actually work on them. I take things apart. If I see an install I don't like, I physically remove it. I want to understand what went wrong. And I want to know if I understand it, I have a chance, an opportunity to help the team do something about it. And so that's what I do. And I've had more understanding in the last few years doing that than I ever did in service and parts ordering and other aspects of the business that we did throughout the years. And working on the motorhome is just great. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It can be frustrating. You can get challenged beyond belief, but then you can overcome that challenge. And at the end of the day, when I'm working in the plant, in the manufacturing plant, I've experienced many customers such as yourself. You're very pleasant today. Some are not. And I understand. I wouldn't be either. If I had problems, I'm not a pleasant person. But, from those experiences, I'm always looking at it from the customer's perspective when I'm in that plant all day long. I understand. I know I've dealt with every problem on a motorhome there is to deal with. And I've not conquered them all, but I'm really working hard on it. And everybody here really works hard on it. And we take this very serious. Every problem that comes across our table is hit head on. And that's one thing we would like to express to the customers is that, and yourself, I know you've had to have problems. There's not any motorhome that never has had a problem.
That's correct.
But we take it extremely serious, and more than most people can imagine.
So on that point, quality control, I want to get back to that for a moment, because that is, I think, from the outside looking in, from the customer, the owner looking in, looking to the company, that has got to be, there's no doubt about it. The quality of the product is very important, very important. And I think that the price you pay, the value you get, it's more than the quality of the product. And I'm very happy, like I said earlier, that it sounds as though, and I've looked at older units and I've looked at mine, obviously, over the last 10 years. It doesn't appear that the quality has gone down. It looks like the same fixtures, the same quality, maybe different style, design are there. So I'm very happy to see that. So obviously that is important. But the quality of the motorhome, that is a quality control, as it rolls out and it meets the owner and the owner takes control of it, that is critical. And obviously you guys know that that's critical. And so you said a moment ago, you like to be in the manufacturing side of it. What do you do? And I think that this is probably something that many other owners would want to know. I certainly want to know myself. In what I do, and I won't go into it too much, but in what I do, it's in the legal field. I'm a trial lawyer, and I've done construction defect many years ago. And when we get into a situation, usually if it's a reverse lap on the roof, reverse lap or windows, you have a leak. It's something that you start to see, and as soon as it starts to become an issue that's visible, if you haven't attacked it earlier, I mean, you certainly attend to it, try to figure out what went wrong, what's going on in this process. This obviously wasn't the design, it wasn't the intent, and you take, you remedy it immediately. Motorhome is going through the process, and let's say hypothetically the vents, the air vents, for some reason on one or more motorhomes, they're not opening or closing, or something's not working correctly. How do you, I mean, obviously you don't know what you don't know, so until you hear it, and no one's perfect, and it could be a one-off, an anomaly, but how do you address a situation where it comes into the service center and service center starts seeing a couple of these issues? What steps do you take? Because remember, the way I look at it anyway, it all starts in the manufacturing, the way it's put together. So what steps do you take to make sure that in manufacturing, first we hone in on, identify what may have happened. Again, it could have been a one-off. It could have been just an oversight. But if it keeps happening, what do you do? What steps do you take to make sure that is remedied? And do you call on the service center? Those guys, since they're fixing it, how does that?
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of times the service center has the answer to the problem because they have, and a lot of times they've gotten clever about it and come up with a beautiful solution because they've got to repair it to the customer's expectations. And then it also has to work, but it still has to look proper. So a lot of times they have the answer. So every week I meet with one service tech every week, and I have them bring me 5 problems that they've encountered that week. And then I spend, sometimes it can take a day or two, but working, determining, okay, is this an engineering problem? Is this a manufacturing problem? And if it is an engineering problem, I meet with the engineers that I feel that have the most influence on that problem. And then if we may redesign it, we may come up with a fix for it, or we may simply do what they did to repair it at the service center. It could be a vendor-related problem. We have to make those determinations. So we figure all that out, and then we implement it through a series of ECNs. We have documentation on all of our process changes and all of our product changes.
So at the service center, you're right. They see these problems. They see the issues that may come in. Each service tech, there's probably many. I mean, I have mine in there for a little warranty work right now, and it's an amazing operation over there. Service tech finds something. I mean, do they communicate that to their supervisor? Are there meetings that go on and say, hey, well, this is what we're starting to see?
What we find is, if it's a repetitive problem, okay, like you said earlier, there's going to be anomalies. There's going to be one-offs. But if we've seen the repetitive type problems, they will let us know. And sometimes it can be a vendor. Maybe we don't have the right thing spec'd in. Maybe there's something better that's manufactured in the industry that we'll use, and we'll ask them, have you tried anything else? You tried a different whatever widget? And if they have, then we'll run it through the process and see if we can get it back into certain models.
Well, one other thing I would add is, you mentioned quality control and service and that communication link there. But we've also found that your ownership experience is highly correlated with your delivery experience and getting things off on the right foot. And so part of our quality program is to invest a lot of resources in what we call PDI, pre-delivery inspection, because some things you truly can't give a full-on cycling or run through until the coach is built.
Correct.
And take your power shades, for instance. I mean, until all slides are in, until the thing's cleaned up, until, it's kind of in a livable state, you're probably not going to get the same quality of inspection on that component that you would once it's finished and it goes through a bay with some really qualified techs to review it. So we're hitting it from all angles, the build, the engineering, the inline inspection and remediation, but also what are we doing before we ship it to make it ready and make it less hassle for the owner.
Let me ask you this. Let me take it one step further. It rolls out of the plant. PDI is finished. Any small issues, any issues, I assume that it will not leave the plant unless it passes all quality control measures.
Yeah, we started implementing a new process where if it leaves the PDI service area, it has to go back for paint or something that's not at this facility. It comes back and gets rechecked in to verify those repairs.
Well, guys, thank you very much. I really appreciated it.
Thank you.
This obviously was not something that was planned. I came in just to have some warranty work and due to leave this afternoon.
Yeah.
And just
safe travels home.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's an honor.
Thank you for making
really
the time.
It's an honor here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you very
for your
much.
business.
Thank you.